There's this cowboy that lives across the street from me, and he is doing yard work right now, so in case you can hear that, nothing I can do. And I don't know if he's an actual cowboy, but he's always wearing a cowboy hat. I don't think I've ever seen the guy without a cowboy hat on. Hey guys, so today we've got a Q&A. I'm gonna be answering all of your questions about what it's like to be a YouTuber, kind of the behind the scenes questions. I've seen several YouTubers post videos similar to this recently, and I thought I would jump on board. I've seen Angelica Nyquist, Amy Loves Makeup, Kelly Gooch, to name a few, so I will link as many as I have seen down below. But I thought it would be fun to film my own version, kind of share my perspective as a small creator. So let's go ahead and get into it. I asked you guys on Instagram what questions you had. So let's go ahead and start with one question that I think it makes sense to answer this one first because a lot of the other questions sort of bounce off of this. But it is, do you still have a full-time / part-time job? And I do. I have a full-time job outside of YouTube. It's the same job that I've had for the past like 4 years now. I think I just had my 4-year work anniversary, which is crazy. I've had this job basically since I graduated college. So I work for a nonprofit, and it is a remote job, so I work from home. I have even since before the pandemic, which is really nice. And I have to say that definitely does, I think, make it a little bit easier to do YouTube on the side, having the flexible schedule that comes with working from home. So, and then a few questions about how do you manage your time working a full-time job and YouTube? How do you stay motivated and find time to film with a full-time job? What does your day look like combining YouTube with your other full-time job? So as far as how do I manage my time, I don't, or I don't do it well, I guess. I've never been great at time management. I've always been a bit of a procrastinator ever since I can remember, but somehow I get it all done, so I don't know. But no, I mean, currently I upload 3 videos a week, and I do try to have all my videos for the week ahead filmed on the weekend. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes I end up having to film during the week like I am right now. But that's what I try to do, and then I edit typically on weeknights. And then as far as how do you stay motivated and find time to film with a full-time job, I mean, it definitely helps that I really love YouTube. Like, I love filming, I love editing. I really do enjoy the whole process of making videos. I just think YouTube is so much fun, and that's definitely what keeps me going, but it still feels like work. Like, I do have to be disciplined a lot of the time. And there are definitely some weeknights where I would much rather just sit on the couch and watch TV, but I just have to say, nope, I've got to edit. And I get it done. And I definitely think it helps for me to have an upload schedule because I am very like deadline oriented. So if I know I'm uploading on Tuesday, I know that I need to probably edit and schedule the video on Monday night. So I at least have a deadline and I just get it done. So I think for me it is kind of a mix of loving YouTube and enjoying the whole process, but also prioritizing it and scheduling it and making sure it gets done. What kind of camera and editing software do you use? So the camera that I use is the Canon EOS Rebel SL2. I've had this same camera since I think 2018. I bought it refurbished and I got a really good deal on it, and I love this camera. I don't ever really want to have to upgrade. I'm sure eventually I will, but for now, this camera is working great for me, and I feel like I just know it. It's easy for me because I've had it for so long, and I don't really mess with the settings. Once I kind of figured out the settings that I like, I leave it alone, other than like I do set the white balance every time I use it, and I also have to like adjust the ISO, which is like the brightness, but other than that, it's a very easy camera, and it's served me very well over the past 3 years. It's funny though, when I look back to like when I first got this camera, the quality of the videos looks completely different from the way it looks now, and it just goes to show how much like knowing the right camera settings and also having good lighting really does make a huge difference, even more so than the camera itself. Obviously having a good camera is important, but yeah, I'd say it's a great starter camera. I think eventually I would like to get like the Canon, what is it, the 90D? I think that's the most recent version of it, but I don't know. I don't really want to change it anytime soon because it's working for me. So, and then editing software, I use Final Cut Pro. It was about 300 bucks, I think. I like saved up my AdSense money last year and put it toward that, and I would say it's been a worthwhile investment so far, but Prior to that, I was just using iMovie for a long time, and there really is a lot you can do with iMovie. That's just the free editing software that comes with Macs. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube about like cool things you can do with iMovie, like little secret hacks and stuff, so that you can make it look like you're using a fancier editing software. So I would say, you know, if you're just starting out, start with whatever free program you have, and then once you are ready to upgrade, you can. But I found the transition to Final Cut Pro pretty easy because it's sort of laid out the same way as iMovie. It's just kind of like the upgraded version of it, I think. And there is a lot more that you can do with Final Cut Pro. I'm not super fancy with my editing, but with Final Cut Pro, you can download like special text elements to go on the screen and things like that. There's all kinds of different effects you can use, and I definitely think it was well worth the $300 once I was like kind of ready to level up a bit. How far in advance do you film your videos? Typically I film them just the weekend before they go up. I would love to have my videos filmed like 2 weeks in advance or even more, but that just realistically doesn't happen most of the time. So it's pretty rare that I film, edit, and upload in the same day. That hardly ever happens. Usually it's at least a few days in advance. Or occasionally I'll film it like the day before, but I try not to do that because that stresses me out. All right, next question is how much money do you make per video? This really can vary quite a bit. There are a few different streams of income on YouTube. So there's your AdSense revenue, which is kind of the main way, and that comes from, you know, the ads that you can place on your videos. Then there's like money that comes from affiliate links. So when I list products in the description box, I almost always include an affiliate link that I'm able to get like a small commission if you do make a purchase through that link. And then there's also sponsorships. Those are kind of the main 3 streams of income that you can get from a YouTube video. But just AdSense alone, because that is where most of my income comes from, at least at this point, I would say on average, maybe $50 to $60 per video, but some videos it's like $30, some videos, like my most viewed videos might get $100. It really depends on a few things. The number of views that you get is a huge factor. How long the video is, how long people watched the video, how many mid-roll ads that you place in the middle of the video, or if it's a shorter video, typically there might not be any mid-roll ads, or maybe there's only one, whereas a longer video might have 2 or 3 mid-roll ads. Then there's the CPM, which is really outside of the YouTuber's control. It stands for cost per mil, and I think it's essentially how much advertisers are paying per 1,000 views. So that can be like, I think my CPM is maybe around like $15 or $16 on average, but some videos it's way higher, some videos it's way lower, and then the time of year that the video goes up also makes a huge difference. Like, you've probably heard around the holidays, that's when advertisers are paying more, and then in like January, February, and March, they're paying less. So there's so many factors that go into how much you can make through AdSense, but I would say on average, at least currently, it's like 50 to 60 per video for me. But like 6 months from now, it might be totally different. And a year ago, I was making much less. Let's see. Do you ever feel judged for the products you use and pressure to be perfect? No, I don't think so. I guess I, do my best to stay informed about brands. And if there's a brand that I no longer align with, I'll stop featuring them. But I mean, for the most part, I don't know. I feel good about the brands that I use, and I don't really feel judged. If anyone's judging, I don't really care. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care. Let's see. How did your family react when you told them about your channel? I didn't necessarily have like a moment where I sat them down and told them about it. Like, it was, I don't know, it just kind of happened naturally. I think even right when I started or right before I started, I told them that I was gonna start making YouTube videos, and they were cool with it. They were supportive, and they certainly didn't react negatively. How many hours do you dedicate to one video, setting up, filming, editing, etc.? Again, it can really vary video to video, but I would say on average 5 hours a video. The filming, typically there's like at least an hour that I'm sitting here filming. Editing probably takes 2 to 3 hours, depending on how complex the video is. And then there's uploading the video, filling out the description box, the thumbnail, all of that's probably an additional hour or two. So I would say, yeah, 5 to 6 hours per video. But then there's some videos that take way longer, like my sunscreen videos. Those took months of preparation. Other videos might take only 3 hours. So it really depends, but I would say maybe 5 to 6 hours on average per video. And then another question was, how many hours a week do you spend on YouTube? A couple of years ago, I did, like for a whole week, I tracked all the hours that I spent on my channel, and it told, I think I was still uploading 3 videos at that time as well, and I think it came out to like 20 hours a week. I should probably do that again and see if it's changed. But I would say probably between 20 to 30 hours per week. And I wish I could spend more time, honestly. Like, I wish I could put 40, 50 hours a week towards my channel. Right now, it's just not possible, but I hope to one day be able to dedicate even more time to it. What do you do when you have YouTube fatigue or creative blocks? I kind of just push through and keep doing it anyway. That's probably not the best advice. But I think what helps is that I do try to have my, like, at least a month's worth of videos kind of planned out, or at least a list of videos that I'm planning on uploading throughout the month, so that I definitely do go through kind of peaks and valleys of times where I feel super, super inspired, and then other times I'm just like, I don't even know what I should film today. But having at least a list of videos on my to film list helps me during those times when I'm maybe not feeling quite as inspired. And then there was a time earlier this year I did reduce my upload schedule to 2 videos per week, but I don't know, that just made me really sad. I like uploading a lot, and also I feel like YouTube kind of makes you, the way that they have like the back end set up, it kind of makes you addicted to uploading videos. And it's, I don't know if that's really the healthiest thing, but you know, when your channel is doing well, you've got like the green arrows. It'll tell you after you've uploaded a video how well it's doing compared to your previous 10 videos. And when it's like the number 1, there's like confetti going across the screen. And when it's 10 of 10, it's like, ooh, you know, your audience isn't really loving this video. Like, this video's not doing as well. And then you feel really bad about yourself. And then you're like, okay, I gotta do better next time. And then when your channel's doing poorly, you've got like the red arrows, the red down arrows, and it's like, it kind of makes you, like, even more so than like Instagram. I don't know, I get Instagram does have analytics, but it's not nearly as in-depth as YouTube's analytics. So I don't know, for me, like, I'm always motivated to like keep going and improve my channel. For better or worse, I don't know if that's always the best for my mental health, but usually I feel like YouTube is a very positive thing for me. Unless my channel's not doing well, then I feel bad. But no, it is kind of weird how YouTube, like, it makes you, it kind of gets you hooked on like making content, and I don't know what to think about that. But you know, there are times when I have YouTube fatigue or I feel a little burnt out, but it always goes away and I always feel inspired again. So I never let that like discourage me, I guess. How do you stay informed on new makeup trends and releases? I don't feel like I do the best job staying informed on new releases and trends, and I'm not 100% like a review channel, so I don't really feel like I have to necessarily. But I think just, I guess, following other YouTubers definitely helps, seeing them talk about new releases. And I do follow Trend Mood on Instagram. I don't know, I don't really care that much about new releases. Like, there was a while where I was filming sort of like will I buy it style videos, or videos where I would try to like dupe new releases with my own collection. But I don't know, for some reason I just don't enjoy filming those videos. I feel bored whenever I'm trying to film those, and so I've stopped doing them. I can't bring myself to care that much about new releases sometimes. Sometimes I am more interested, but most of the time I'd rather just like focus on using what I have. And you know, every now and then a new release will catch my eye and I'll buy it. But I guess to answer your question, I don't really do a great job staying informed, but just following fellow creators certainly helps. Okay, here's a good question. Interested to hear a recap of your journey when you started, niched down, and saw growth. So I started in 2016. That was when I like posted my first video. I was still in college at the time, and I wasn't like fully taking YouTube super seriously. I wasn't that committed to it, and I wasn't uploading that consistently, and so I don't know, I really didn't see much growth in the first like year or two of my channel. And it's funny looking back at that time, I don't even think I would have been able to tell you like how many subscribers I had at the time. Like, I knew it was like probably in the hundreds, but I wasn't even, I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention to my subscriber count. I was just purely doing it for fun whenever I felt like it. And my niche back then was just like cruelty-free beauty, sort of vague. I don't know, I was just posting what I wanted when I wanted, you know, favorites, empties, things like that. It really wasn't until like 2018, I think, that I started to take it a bit more seriously. There was kind of a turning point for me in 2018 where a fellow YouTuber who I'd been kind of friends with for a little while, her name was Kaylee Baute. She doesn't post videos anymore, and I really miss her. I do hope she comes back one day, but she posted a video where she was kind of just sharing like her favorite channels. I think her favorite channel's under 10K, and I think she had about 25,000 subscribers around this time. And I was one of the channels that she shouted out, and I just remember feeling so like flattered. And I probably had about 500 subscribers around this time, and I remember after she posted that video, I saw like a jump of like 200 subscribers in a day or in like 2 days, and that was just unheard of for me. I was so excited. And that was a big turning point for me because I feel like, I don't know, it just gave me this boost of confidence that I didn't have in myself at the time. And here was this like much bigger channel that I looked up to so much, like giving me a shout out, that I was like, wait, maybe I should take this a little more seriously. Like, I do really enjoy it. And so from that point, I think that around that time, like maybe a few months later, I ended up buying a new camera, which was this one. Still using the same one today. And I think I just started uploading a little bit more frequently, and then I think it was like the end of 2018, that was like spring 2018, I think. The end of 2018, beginning of 2019 was when I decided for sure, like, I am gonna start treating this more like a job and taking it more seriously, being more consistent. I think around that time was when I started uploading like 3 videos a week. That was around the time I started seeing growth, was when I started uploading more frequently. The beauty niche on YouTube is very saturated. There are just so many beauty YouTubers that it can be kind of hard to find what makes you stand out. And so around the time that I started kind of just taking it more seriously and being more consistent, I did start to sort of hone in on my niche, if you will. So I do think, as if you are wanting to start a beauty channel, you need to have some sort of niche within beauty that's not just like general beauty or makeup. Like, for me, it started out as just like cruelty-free beauty, but I think it's necessary to even go further than that. I started doing like the Project Pan videos, and those were the videos that my audience seemed to really enjoy, so I started doing more of that type of content, and that was also the kind of content that I really enjoyed. I never really wanted to be like strictly a review channel where I was like collecting a ton of makeup. That just wasn't really what I wanted to do. And so I started focusing more on like, you know, shop my stash type content. I remember like different series that I did. Like, I had an eyeshadow roulette series. I had like a lipstick, what did I call it? 4 weeks, 4 lipsticks, where I would have like 4 lipsticks that I would use a certain number of times throughout the month, and then at the end of the month I would like recap. Those types of videos, in addition to Project Pans, and, you know, occasional reviews as well. But that kind of ended up being my niche on YouTube. And the way that I found that was really just by kind of trial and error, posting videos and just seeing what stuck and what my audience enjoyed. And also, it's kind of like a Venn diagram. Like, what does your audience enjoy? What do you enjoy? And merging those together. And that's kind of, I think that's the best way to find your niche on YouTube. And for me, the growth has been quite slow and steady, I would say. I've never had like a viral video, at least not yet. Maybe one day I will, but I kind of like the slow and steady route, because I do think sometimes what happens if you have a video go viral, a bunch of people might subscribe all at once, but they might not really stick around, or they might not be an engaged, loyal audience, especially if the video that went viral wasn't even related to like your niche. But for me, I've just been able to grow a kind of small but very loyal community, and I don't know, you guys are awesome. Like, I feel like I have a very, very engaged, loyal audience. especially compared to the number of subscribers that I have. I like it that way. Like, I would much rather have a small, like, very engaged audience than like a huge audience that isn't that engaged. What do you like to film the most? I mean, I like filming everything that I film. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't film it. But there are some videos that I love filming. Like, I love filming empties videos. I don't know what it is, but I just find those so fun and satisfying to film. I love filming Project Pan updates. I enjoy like get ready with me's, but those don't typically do super well unless there's like a specific theme to the get ready with me. So typically I'll tie those into my Shop My Stash for the month. And that way I'm still able to do like a get ready with me, but it's within a topic that like a lot of people enjoy. Speaking of Shop My Stash, I love filming Shop My Stash. Any kind of video where it's like filmed overhead, so Shop My Stash. Declutters are fun to film. Makeup collection videos are fun to film. I enjoy those a lot. Yeah, those would probably be my favorite videos to film. How many sponsorships do you have, if you can share? I guess if you mean like how many long-term sponsors, I have one actually. I just recently signed the contract for like a 1-year partnership, which I will share more about that next month, but it's very exciting. It's a brand I've worked with already and I love working with them and I'm really excited to continue the partnership. That's the only like long-term sponsorship I have currently. And then I have had a few like one-off sponsorships in the past. I think I've only worked with 3 brands so far, so hopefully that answers your question. So let's see, how do you spend your YouTube money? Reinvest in your channel, extra income, or a mix of both? So last year in 2020, I feel like 2020, like I was making a little bit of money here and there in 2019, which like I said, I feel like 2019 was kind of the first year that I started treating YouTube more like a job. In 2020 was when I started making like tangible money of any kind, and I pretty much reinvested all of that back into my channel. So, you know, equipment, paying for my editing software, and then the biggest thing in 2020 that I put quite a big chunk of my YouTube earnings toward was basically like a coaching program. I essentially hired a coach to help me improve my channel. And that was like a 3-month program where she essentially like helped me take a look at my channel and find ways to improve it. So that was the biggest thing that I invested in 2020. And that plus like all the other little things added up to, I basically broke even in 2020 with my YouTube earnings. This year, I'm not planning on needing to reinvest quite as much of my YouTube earnings back into my channel. So, you know, hopefully some of it will actually be like additional income. And then, do you have a business account or separate business for your YouTube income? I don't, but I should. I feel very overwhelmed when it comes to like the finances and like the taxes and all of that. Eventually I'll probably work with an accountant when it comes time, but so far I've been okay without one. And I just do my taxes via TurboTax, and this is kind of like a side business. And I just keep track of all my earnings and my expenses, and then when it comes time to do my taxes, I plug it all into TurboTax. And actually I didn't use TurboTax this year, I used some other like online tax filing thing. But I do have a QuickBooks account, but I haven't started using it yet. So I've just been paying for it and not using it, which is dumb, but I'm working on it. I don't really know what I'm doing, but so far I've been okay. So, okay, your favorite and least favorite things about PR and how much PR do you reject? So we'll start with the how much PR do you reject. Well, first of all, there's only certain brands that I accept PR from, and they have to be cruelty-free, whether it's Logical Harmony or Leaping Bunny certified. It has to be one of those, or if they're not on either one of those, I'll send them like a list of questions, and if I'm satisfied with their answers, then I'll accept it. But if a brand does satisfy like the cruelty-free criteria, then I would say I accept probably like 90%. A lot of the PR that I've been able to get has actually been through Octoly, which is kind of like Influencer, but you sign up for it, you have to have like a certain number of subscribers. I don't remember what the like cutoff is, but it's basically like a store where every day there will be like different products on there, and if you see something that you want, you can apply to receive it. And that's nice because that way I'm only getting things that I actually want. And then, you know, some of the PR that I receive is from brands just directly reaching out to me. I've never really like reached out to brands myself to try to get on their PR list. I don't know. I don't necessarily want to be on a ton of PR lists, but like if it happens organically, then I'm happy to receive it. But anyway, I would say of the cruelty-free brands that are available to me, I probably accept like 90%. But then again, at this point of my channel, I'm not getting like a ton of brands reaching out to me every day. Favorite and least favorite things about PR, I would say my least favorite is sometimes I just end up with products that I'm not really interested in. And I always tell brands up front, like I can't guarantee that I will feature this in a video. So, you know, if that sounds okay to you, then feel free to send it. A lot of times, if the brand doesn't like let you choose what you want, you just end up with random stuff that you wouldn't have really been interested in, and a lot of times with that, I will just give it away to friends or donate it to Project Beauty Share or something like that right away and just keep what I am interested in. But that would probably be my least favorite. And then favorite thing about PR would probably be when I'm able to discover a product that I maybe never would have even known about had it not been for the brand sending it to me, or I never would have thought to purchase it on my own. Like for example, the Clove and Hallow Hydra Tint Blush that was sent to me just by chance from the brand, and I ended up falling in love with it. Probably never would have tried the brand otherwise. Never would have found that product, but I love it. And yeah, I would say that's the best thing about PR is that, you know, sometimes you're able to find products that you never would have discovered on your own. All right, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up there because I feel like I've been talking for forever. So I'm gonna try to edit this down as much as I can, but I feel like it's probably gonna be a long video. But I hope that you enjoyed this video, maybe found it interesting to hear about some of the behind the scenes aspect of being a YouTuber. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you've not already subscribed to my channel, I'd love to see you again soon. And hopefully I'll talk to you very soon in my next video. Bye.